Coming up, an interview with a legend on a rock classic that sat unfinished for years because his band thought it sounded too similar to a Beatles song. And then one day he got an idea from a random saying that he heard on a radio show, and the chorus just fell into place. But it was still missing something musically. That is until a pizza delivery guy walked in and offered to play piano on the track, which ended up being the final piece. Now, when he played the demo for a record exec, the exec just flipped out. He wanted him to release this song ASAP. Now he just needed to track down the pizza guy to sign a release, which proved to be pretty impossible. Stories coming up next. Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you're the number one pick for any kind of trivia game nights, this is your channel. Make sure to subscribe below right now. Click the bell so that you always know when our new videos and interviews are dropping. Also, check out our exclusive content on Patreon and our latest merch as well. That includes our Vintage Years collection from amazing artist Thomas Estrada, who actually did the art for Raffing. So I'm excited to bring you yet another episode from our series Revelations. This is where featured artists go deep on their greatest songs and albums. This is one of the most unbelievable stories you'll ever hear about a song. It comes from a legendary guitarist, singer, and songwriter who has quite a few stories just like this. Randy Bachman, who was a co-founder of the Guess Who and Bachman Turner Overdrive. Actually, it's Randy Bachman, but I'll let him tell you about that. He wrote or co-wrote so many fire-breathing classic rock standards. I mean, there's American Woman. Stay away from me. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. No Time. I could go on and on. Today he tells us the story of the 70s classic rock ditty, Taking Care of Business. Now, he had written this song when he was still in the Guess Who. Only lead singer Burton Cummings felt that it sounded too much like the Beatles' Paperback Writer, and he wanted no part of it for that very reason. Now, to be fair, Randy did gain some inspiration, which he'll tell you, from Lennon and McCartney, but he was calling it White Collar Worker, but it just didn't have the right ring to it. And then he heard a radio DJ say the words "taking care of business," and he knew that that had to be the chorus. But it was still missing something musically. But who could have ever predicted that the missing puzzle piece to this musical mystery would be through a pizza delivery guy who knew how to play a mean piano? Coming up next, Randy Bachman tells the high-flying story of a song that refused to go away, and how it became one of the biggest hits on rock radio, and how Elvis Presley, the whole reason that Randy got into music in the first place, he used Taking Care of Business as his mantra. It's on his headstone, for heaven's sake. Randy tells all of this coming up. Now, as we go into this interview, I do want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, the glasses I wear every single day. Right now, Zenni has a feature that you can add to any frame that's called transitions. That's what they name it. The lenses automatically adapt to changing light. Transitional lenses darken outdoors and then return to clear indoors very quickly. They're light intelligent lenses. You got to check it out today at our link below, or just download the Zenni app. Here's Randy with the story. Well, Taking Care of Business, one of the great classic rock songs of all time, was dropped as a single to kick off 1974. Very interesting history behind this surprise BTO classic.
Yeah.
It was developed while you were still in the Guess Who, right? Tell me about that.
It started, I was trying to copy Paperback Writer, Day in the Life of a Guy. Which was a copy of Johnny Be Good, Day in the Life of a Kid who lived in a cabin made of earth and wood. And I'm trying to write a song like that, not a love song, describing the day in the life of a guy. When we had Shaken All Over, we went to Scepter Records in New York City. We recorded at Scepter. Their songwriters were Bacharach and David, who were writing for Dionne Warwick, Ashford and Simpson, who were writing for Maxine Brown, and they wrote a couple of songs that we did in the Guess Who. And the engineer was Stanley Greenberg. Florence Greenberg owned Scepter Records. She managed the Shirelles. She wrote Soldier Boy for the Shirelles. And she owned the studio. Her son was the engineer, Stanley Greenberg. He was blind. He comes to work every day with a white cane, wearing a white button-down shirt with a tweed tie, a tweed jacket, wool, tweed pants. It's August in New York. It's 95 above and 95 humidity. We're all wearing cutoffs and T-shirts. This guy comes to work wearing a wool suit. I said, Stanley, I want to write a song about you. You're insane. You wear this woolen suit all the time. He said, yeah, I'm trying to be like George Martin, like the Beatles producer. I said, yeah, you look like George Martin. You're great. Why do you leave every day at 10 o'clock? He said, I have to take the bus home. I take a train home. What? Don't you live here in New York? No, I don't. Your mother owns the building. She owns 254 West 54th Street, the studio. Don't you live here? No, I'm on my own. I have to take the bus home. I said, how do you take the train, the bus and the train? How do you do that? I go to Grand Central Station. Really? Well, I want to write a song about you, Stanley, because you come to work every day. I want to call it White Collar Worker, because you wear a white button-down shirt every day. You're a white collar worker, along with everybody else. When you leave at 10 o'clock, I want to come with you. How do you get to Grand Central Station? He said, I do it every day. Done it for years. I count steps. I'd never been with a blind person before. The guy, and he said, you can't talk to me. He goes and he counts 355 steps, a certain direction. Then you hear tweet, tweet, tweet. And it means you can cross the street. There's a green light and it tweets. If you're visually impaired, the little bird chirps, you can cross the street. He crossed the street. He counts another 158 steps. We're at Grand Central Station. I'm amazed at this whole process. Stanley, this is fabulous. The streets are empty. Everyone's in Broadway shows, or they're in Madison Square Garden. The streets are deserted. It's 10:15. At 10:30, 10:45, it's going to be the parking lot at the World's Fair, in the streets after that. But there's nothing going on. I say, Stanley, there's nothing I can write about. There's nothing here. There's nobody here. No traffic. Grand Central's empty. It's a beautiful building. My first time I've ever been there. When do you come in the morning? He said, I take the 8:15 into the city. Oh, what happened then? Well, I think all the girls are there doing their makeup. They're all trying to look pretty. They all have jobs. They're all working at Mutual of New York, and they're getting off at Grand Central, and they're all, can I borrow your lipstick? Can I borrow your eyeshadow? They're all doing their makeup. I don't know what they're doing. Come and see it. So I meet him at the morning. All the girls are trying to look pretty, and he walks to work again. He gets there by 9. He starts his job. So I write White Collar Worker, which is basically a copy of Paperback Writer. And when and the verses are the same, but when I get to my course, it's White Collar Worker, just like paperback writer, paperback writer. And everybody hates the song. They love the verses, but they know it's a blatant copy of Paperback Writer. That song never gets on any Guess Who album. Canned Wheat, Wheatfield Soul, American Woman. It never gets. I played for Fred Turner and Brave Belt. He said, great lyrics in the verses. We can't do this song. It doesn't get Brave Belt 1. It doesn't get on Brave Belt 2. It doesn't get on Brave Belt 3, which becomes BTO 1 because we change our label and change our name to become Bachman Turner Overdrive. We're playing a gig in Vancouver. We've done BTO 1. It's a really good album. The song never made it on there. It's an album of rock songs, no hit singles. And we're going to play a club in North Vancouver. I'm driving over the bridge. Daryl B., who's Burton's friend, who used to manage the Devrons in Winnipeg, has got us the gig where I got my Les Paul. He got us the 4 gigs with Frank Zappa and the Mothers and Alice Cooper. And he's on the radio now saying, this Daryl B. on C-Fun Radio, and I'm taking care of business. And I go, what a great title for a song. What a phenomenal song title. I write it down so I don't forget it. I get to the gig that night. Fred Turner says, I can't sing the last set. I lost my voice. We're doing 5 15-minute sets a night, 6 nights a week. Fred can't sing the last set, so I've got to sing the last set. I'm not really a great singer. With Burton Cummings and Fred Turner in my bands, I don't need to sing that much. I sing harmonies, or I sing gang vocals in the choruses. We don't know what to do. I try a Bob Dylan song, She Belongs to Me. It doesn't work. The club owner's going, get them up dancing. It's the last set Saturday night. I want to sell my booze. I want to sell my liquor. Get them up dancing. So my mind switches to Carlos Santana, who had a hit at the time called Oye Como Va. I know absolutely no Spanish. I'm going to do a Ukrainian version. My mother's Ukrainian. I'm going to do a different ethnic version of Oye Como Va. So I start to sing Oye Como Va. pierogies, bueno bombas. I don't know what I'm singing, but the crowd is dancing. And all I want to do is get to Carlos's hit, right? Oye, ¿cómo va? Whatever he says, I'm going, pierogies, bueno vamos a kielbasa. I'm singing about Ukrainian food. And when I get to everybody's up dancing. And the club owner's going, this means okay, and this means keep it going, keep them dancing. And if you stop the song, they're going to sit down. A light comes on in my head and says, why don't you put together Daryl B saying taking care of business instead of white collar worker, do the same lyrics. So I go, they get up in the morning from the alarm clock's warning, take the 8:15 into the city. When it gets the hook, I don't go, white collar worker. I go, taking care of business every day, take, and it fits, and the crowd loves it. And we do the song for 25 minutes. We end the set with that song. And Fred Turner says, well, we should record that. It's a great version, and you should sing it. So I sing the song on the record. When we record it late at night, I sing it once. It's no big deal. It's just I'm singing a song. There's a knock at the door. There's a guy standing there wearing army fatigue, got a big black frizzy beard and black frizzy hair. He's standing there with a couple of pizzas. He says, you guys ordered pizza? I said, no, try down the hall. Studio B, Steve Miller. Studio C is War. We're all recording hit albums. We didn't know they're going to be hits, but he's recording Fly Like an Eagle album with, Take the Money and Run and Big Old Jet Airliner and all that kind of stuff. Go on, take the money and run. And War is there doing Why Can't We Be Friends and Low Rider. All my friends, Low Rider. And we're there doing Let It Ride. And taking care of business. He comes back and knocks on the door again. Yeah, I got rid of the pizzas. And I'm a piano player. I don't deliver pizza. I am a piano player. This song sounds like it needs a piano. Can I have a break? Can I try playing piano in this song? And I say, well, I know Little Richard, Elton John. Like, I don't know who you are, but I'd rather have John or Little Richard. Give me a break, man. I don't deliver pizza all the time. So I figure I'll give the guy a break. So I said, look, we'll give you a shot, man. You get one take. We're going home. We've been in the studio 14 hours. We got it at 10 this morning. It's now 1 o'clock the next morning. We got to get some sleep. We're coming back at 10 o'clock again. We give him one take on the piano. He plays it. He goes delivering pizza. We go home. We come back the next day. The head of our label flies in. He wants to hear some hit singles from me because I've written these eyes and hits for the Guess Who, and he wants me to do something for Top 40 Radio. He likes Let It Ride a lot. We have to edit out the middle part for radio. And I say to the engineer, when you play TCB, don't play the piano part. We hadn't heard it back. But thankfully, halfway through the song, he pushes up the volume. In comes the piano. Charlie says, wow. BTO with the piano. You'll get Elton John Real Estate on Top 40 Radio with that. Let's hear the whole track with the piano. We play him the track. He loves the track. He says, who's playing piano? I say, a pizza guy. I have no idea who he is. He says, we have to find out who this guy is. It takes some detective work because Steve Miller didn't order the pizza and War don't remember where they got the pizza from. So we phone a couple of restaurants. I say to the girl at the front of the studio, you start at Antonio's, I'll start at Mario's. Phone all the pizza places within 2 blocks of the studio and see if they have a pizza guy that delivered pizza here last night that looks like Fidel Castro, because the guy had a big black beard and was wearing an army fatigue suit. So we find the guy. His name was Norman Durkee. That's the piano we hear on Taking Care of Business. A year later, he was Bette Midler's musical director on her first North American tour. And when I played with Ringo Starr, All-Star Band in 95, we toured the world. We ended the shows in LA at the Greek Theater, where the LA Philharmonic play and perform. The pianist for the LA Philharmonic was Norman Durkee. So he's back again. And to end my story on seeing Elvis on TV, and wanting to switch to playing guitar and be like Elvis. I really wanted to be like Scotty Moore, good guitar player. But Elvis did play a really great rhythm guitar. And then to hear Priscilla Presley tell that when Elvis was driving to the LA airport to go back to Memphis, and he heard a song on the radio by a Canadian band called Taking Care of Business, he said, I want that to be my theme, TCB with a lightning bolt. And now I've got from Elvis's, one of his guys, the real TCB, the gold one he gave all of his band members. And to have it on his tombstone was a real incredible thing for me to happen, because Elvis inspired me and was my rock and roll king. Really, I had an Elvis scrapbook with all his pictures, and I loved every song he's got. And I bought every record he got, learned every guitar solo, and that taught me to play a lot of rock and roll, rockabilly guitar. And then from that, you copy Elvis's copycats, who are Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran. Buddy Holly. You know, everybody else, and you copy all the guitar at that time, and you become a pretty good guitar player, and you're learning the roots of rock and roll. And Chuck Berry, of course.
Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go.
And all these solos that were played on Jerry Lee Lewis records. So that kind of gave me a foundation and a vocabulary, I would call it, in rock and roll.
To have that come all the way back around, that he inspired you and then something you did inspired him. I'm always amazed by that story because, I mean, I love Elvis. I knew who Elvis was before as a little kid growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, before I knew who the big stars of the day were, Michael Jackson and such, because my dad raised me on all that. But I loved Elvis. Elvis was just, he was just so unique. And to see him have that effect now with the movie coming out, my 14-year-old son loves Elvis, but it's just really cool to see. But TCB, to have that be such a big part of his life. What was cool too is that when you rework the song from White Collar Worker to Taking Care of Business, the new lyrics took a kind of a self-ironic glance at the idea of glamorous rock stars who don't really need to work, contrasted with, you know, working class men. It's kind of in a vein that would be covered a decade later with Dire Straits, right? With Money for Nothing.
Money for nothing and your chicks free. Now that ain't working.
It's been a monster, Taking Care of Business. It's been, I think it's actually, I read somewhere where it's bigger than anything you ever did, even with the Guess Who, bigger than American Woman as far as how many times it has been synced. It's been in everything. It's like in Sony's music publishing catalog, it's like the most licensed song for the last 10 years or something like that.
Yeah, they told me that they administer Bob Dylan, Neil Diamond, others. The most requested songs are You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet and Taking Care of Business. And always by two opposing presidential candidates, Bush and Clinton. Do you know what I mean? Back and forth. And I'm saying, no, I don't want my songs used by these guys because one of them is going to be a loser. Then your song's a losing song, right? Right. So I don't really want it to be used. I just got asked if they could be used by Ron DeSantis. And I said politely but flatteringly, I refuse, because you can't be politically aligned. I don't want to align with anything politically. Music is not political. It's soul and heart and soul, and it's communication around the world. And I don't want it to be politically used.
Well, in 1994, the Guinness World Record with the 1,300 guitars, too. That's pretty cool. Curtis Blow covered it. Then, like you said, Taking Care of Christmas.
And we'll be taking care of Christmas every day.
Man, that has been used in so many movies that they actually named the movie after it, right?
Yeah, I've got the poster in my room. It was a really cool movie. It was good.
Replacements, A Knight's Tale. Wonder Years.
What we lacked in experience, we made up for with
Quantum Leap, that 70s show, The Sopranos.
I really wanted and hoped that Run DMC would have done that like they did with Walk This Way, but they never did it.
Well, The Simpsons, you were on The Simpsons. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
We're going to play all your old favorites. But first, we'd like to dip into our new CD.
Taking care of business!
Don't worry, sir. We'll get to that
No
one.
talking! No new crap! Taking care of business now!
Fred and I did voiceovers for our cartoon character on The Simpsons. That was great.
Get to the working overtime part!
Unbelievable. Dumbass.
Wasn't that an amazing story? Make sure to leave us a comment about this incredible song and about Randy Bachman and BTO. What are your top Randy Bachman songs, Randy Bachman? Do you enjoy him better with the Guess Who or with BTO? The fact that he is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is one of the biggest omissions around. It's so frustrating. Let's discuss all of this in the comments. If you dig our content, our videos, make sure to subscribe below. We'd love to have you. And then make sure to look us up on Patreon for even more content. Help us keep the music alive. That's the idea. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friend.